So you have your first offer that you want to put in for a client. What do you do? So the first step is you're going to log into Skyslope. Once you log into Skyslope, you're going to go over to this app button. You're going to click it and you're going to click and go to Forms. Once this page loads, yours will probably be blank if you're a new agent or you haven't written an offer yet, and you're going to click Create New File. And here you're going to choose who your client is. I'm going to do a fake one so that you can see what it looks like. I'm just going to use myself. I'm going to be the buyer. And then I will just type in my information. Now that I have this information, I'm going to import the data from the MLS, and this is where you'll need the MLS number. So you'll go to the MLS and you'll pull up the listing, and then right here, you are going to copy and paste this number. This is the MLS number. And then you're going to go back to your Skyslope and you're going to click Import MLS data and paste this number. And then you'll see this home come up. And I'm going to click Import. And so now it took all the information and put it this way. And then I'm going to name my file by the address so it's easier to find. And then I had made some personal templates. You'll probably want to use one of the brokerage templates. And it would be like the solo agent, or if you're on a team, then you would click your team's name. So I'm going to click Create. And then these are generally the forms that you're going to need in order to do your deal. So to start, you first have to answer a couple of questions before we know which documents we're going to need. So you need to know if they have a septic system. If they have septic, then you will need to use the on-site wastewater form. If you're going to include an escalation clause, then you would need to use this one. For the SPEDs, you will need to do that, but you won't do that in your initial contract. And then post-possession, if you need post-possession, I guess that wouldn't really apply in this case. So you will ignore that form for right now. The ones that you'll need are the purchase contract. So you click this. You need, this one's called the READ form. Buyer contingency, you need to know if is the sale going to be contingent on the sale of the home. In our current market, I'm going to say no, but if you need that one, then you'll click that. You'll always need the buyer advisory, the market conditions, the buyer's wire fraud. The additional clause addendum, you'll need that if you're going to put an additional clause in it, such as like the earnest money going hard or other things. I'll include it, and I can show you also how we can get rid of it if we don't need it. If you're going to use our own title company, then you would include this affiliated business agreement. This is the inspection notice, the BINSR. You will not need that until your inspection period is over. The pre-closing walkthrough you will not need yet, or the buyer notice disclosure. And then you will need this consent to representation. We'll want to make sure that we have that one. And then we already talked about those. Then once you have those, you'll click Fill and Send. And you will see all of these here. If there is an outdated version of the form, it will tell you, and you'll just click Update Now. And then I like to go and order these different. So I like to have some of these easier ones at the beginning. So like the wire fraud one and the market conditions. So this form's a good example, the consent to limited representation. This actually does not apply because I'm not representing both the seller and the buyer. So in order to get rid of this form, what I'll do is I'll click this button right here and the form goes away. So I will start with the wire fraud advisory. It'll have, because I am the buyer, it will have that, and then at the end, I'll show you how to do the signatures. I go down to the market conditions form, same thing. Here's the agency disclosure. You will always need to check box, make sure box 34 and 36 are completed, and then 45. And then if you are using our title company, then we would date it. So I'm going to use today's date. And then this just discloses the fees that they charge and the ranges of them. If you're not writing in our title company, then you would just go and click this to get rid of it. And then we'll move to the buyer advisory. This is a really long document. I want to say it's about 13 pages. It just kind of goes over everything that your buyer should be aware of. And you'll want to make sure you talk to your client about these items. And then at the very bottom, there will be a signature. So here's the last page where they'll sign. And then the fun part is the real estate contract. So you will want to make sure that that you check these boxes, that you've reviewed this with your buyer. So you want to make sure to go over these items. And then here is where the purchase contract. So now I need to find out the seller. How do I do that? So this is where you're going to go back to the listing. So I'm going to switch to this listing, and I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click Monsoon. And then this is going to load the tax record. And so the property owner is this living trust. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste this, because this is going to be who the seller is. And I'm going to go back to my Skyslope. And it says, so since this is not a person and it's a trust, I'm going to put that there. I don't need to put the rest of the information. I just need to have that information. And then for the assessor's number, this is when I'm going to go back to the listing. And for the assessor's number, it's over here on the left under Maricopa Assessor Parcel. And so I'm going to copy and paste this number and go back to Skyslope and paste it into this form right here. And then for the legal description, I'm going to go back to the detail sheet, and you find that here, the abbreviated legal description. So you're going to copy and paste this. And then you're going to go back to Skyslope, and I already have this open, and click Save. And so you'll see that here. So that's how that works. And then you'll leave those other two lines blank. This is where you have how much you're going to offer for the home. And so hopefully you've already talked to the agent so that you know what you're going to offer and what the seller is looking for. And so to get back there, then I just click on, let's see, report. And this will take me back to the listing. And so for this home, it's $799.99. I can also really quick go back to Monsoon. And with that, I can click this comparables to see if this is a good offer. Once the comparables load, I'm going to look for the last 3 months located within a quarter mile, and I'm going to click apply criteria. And then I can see that only one other home has sold, and that was for $650. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look about a half mile out and then click apply and see if that does anything else. And by going half a mile out, now I have a lot more comps. And here it shows the average is 858. And so what I like to do is go down, look at the square footage compared to the lot that I have, and see like when, when it's sold, see if like it's comparable. And these all look really good. We don't have things that are really out there that are like crazy, like this one, 905. So what I would do is I would go and I would look at this listing to kind of see why it sold for that. Like what upgrades does it have that my current house that I'm making an offer on doesn't have. So you can see that this one's very updated. It's similar to the other one. So this is just good information to know. So then I'll go back to this page. And now when I go back to Skyslope, I'm going to, let's say I've talked to the agent, I'm going to offer what they're asking. And so I'll have that. And then earnest money is typically 1% of the purchase price unless you want to have more. So we will leave it at that. And then we'll also have, I'll type in here the down payment. So if the person's going to put 10% down, then I would subtract the earnest money from, you know, the 10% down. So if, let's see, I would put 10% down payment. Okay, so I have the full purchase price, the earnest money, how much they'll do for their down payment. And then when I add those up, it'll equal $799,999. And so they'll be financing this portion. The earnest money is going to be in a form of a personal check. You will not collect that. Instead, what you will do is when you open escrow, the buyer will be contacted and they can either give their money electronically or they can drop a check off at the title agency's location. Then the next thing is you have to decide when you're going to close the home. So let's say for this one, I want to close June 30th. So I'll just click that. So it makes it really simple. We don't want post-possession. And then the other thing in here, so this home is in the HOA. That's going to be it because it's septic, and you can find, or sorry, it's not septic. So I will go and look here. No, I need to click report. And I can see by reading the details that it's a public sewer right here. And they do have a HOA Villages Act QC. I can also go into the Documents tab and see if they have the HOA completed, which they do. And so this will be good because we'll need this information. And I'm going to download this information. And I'm just going to name it HOA Cherrywood because I'm going to be uploading it in a few minutes. So now I will have the HOA document. Now, before I move on, I'm going to add this HOA form by going to Add Forms, and I'm going to upload it. And then I'm going to go to my drive where it uploaded or downloaded, and I'm going to upload this into here. It says it's done, so I'm going to add the document. Super easy, and now I have this HOA document that I'm going to need to fill out. But I'm going to go back to my purchase contract before I finish filling that out. So page 2, you're going to want to make sure that if there is a refrigerator, a washer and dryer, that you check these boxes. Note, be as descriptive as you can, like what brand is it? What does it look like? If you're able to take a picture and get the serial numbers, then you would do that. Otherwise, you could, worst case scenario is, you know, as shown in MLS pictures, or like as shown on May 8th, 22, stainless steel LG. So you can just be descriptive as that, and you would do that also for the dryer. If there's anything else that they want, you would put it, you would mark this as well. So if you have an all cash sale, then you skip section 2. You do not fill out anything for that. But because we're doing financing, this is where it shows you have to have the pre-qual in order to submit an offer. So you'll want to get that. And then this is where we'll put what type of financing. And let's say that it's conventional. We'll do that. If it was like a jumbo loan, then I would click this and type in jumbo loan. So we're just going to pretend it's conventional. Seller concessions, we're not going to put any, so we just leave it blank. And the appraisal is going to be paid for by the buyer. Unless the market starts turning and the sellers are starting to do those, then you would check the other box. And here is the title information. for our title person, and we're going to have a part 2 video.